If you've seen this weedy looking plant around your property and automatically assume that it was ragweed, then you're kind of like me. Only a couple of days ago, I found out that instead of ragweed, this is actually a beneficial herb called goldenrod. This particular plant grows all over our property. In and around our raised beds, it's been pulled up over the 15 years that we've lived on this property. It grows around our porch, it grows in our fields, it grows everywhere. And for certain, I thought that it was actually ragweed until I did some deeper research. The way that you can tell, well, there are several ways you can tell. One of the ways is the fact that ragweed has to be spread by pollen. And generally, if you touch it, you're going to see that pollen spread. And with our goldenrod, you don't see that. Ragweed is spread by the wind, and so the pollen and the flowers, all of it spreads really easily, which is why we sneeze and sniffle so much when it's in the air. This, however, is an herb that can be dried and used for teas. You can make tinctures, all kinds of things. We're going to go ahead and harvest quite a few of the flowers, and some we will allow to dry naturally, and some we will dehydrate for use later in the year. I would love to be able to make salves, tinctures, as well as some tea blends with this wonderful multi-use herb. So stay tuned and I will take you on that journey, and as I research a little bit more about goldenrod. Good morning, guys. It is quite chilly outside this morning, and I feel really good about that. But what it does mean is that we have a lot to get done. This evening the temperatures are going to be in the 30s, and that's going to be for the next 2 evenings. Although it's not going to be freezing, it does mean that a lot of things that we use for our tea blends, those leaves could take a little bit of damaging, so we're going to go ahead and, to be on the precautious side, we're going to go ahead and harvest as much of that as possible and set up some drying stations and things like that. But while we're giving it a little bit more time outside to warm up, I wanted to take care of finishing some projects indoors. So in our previous clip that you saw us out with the goldenrod. We were harvesting, and the bees were enjoying it as well. I went ahead and brought quite a bit of it in. In fact, this whole basket here was full, and some of it we used right away, but because of the hectic nature of life, a lot of it just sat in that basket and dried naturally over the last week. What I did use right away was what we used to make our tincture. What I did to do that, and I'm sorry I don't have video of it, but it's so easy, trust me. We just took the stems, broke off the woody part at the bottom, and we only focused on the top part that had the flowers and some of the leaves. And I simply chopped as finely as I could, and then took that and I stuffed this jar right here really tight. And then all I did was poured the alcohol. In this case we used vodka. We used a 40%, and we poured it over until the jar was full and everything was covered. And then we put it up here into our cabinet where it's pretty cool here and it's definitely dark. We did this on the 10th, as you can see, and it will be ready on the 21st of November. The 21st will give us 6 weeks. However, if for some reason we did want to infuse longer, there's no reason why we couldn't. We would just simply do like we've been doing and just periodically coming in and agitating the jar. All right, so there's that squeaky cabinet again. I'm gonna put that back up there, and I'm gonna show you what we did with the rest of one of the things that I have to do today, because the weather is going to be very cool tonight and the following night, is I want to harvest as many of our tea supplies that we possibly can. That's going to include our goldenrod. That's because these things are seasonal, and so if for some reason we don't get enough of what we need before the temperatures cool and perhaps damage some of our items, then we have to wait until next year, because we only use what we grow here for our tea blend. So there's this push to get a lot of things accomplished over the next week or so. So going back to our goldenrod, this is what we have right now. I have two different mixtures. This mixture here is about a 30% mixture with leaves as well as flowers, and this mixture here is pretty much just flowers. We did a taste test last night, hubby did, with this one, and I don't think I made it strong enough. So my intention is to harvest more today and to intensify the flavor so that comes through. What is amazing about this goldenrod is when you smell it when it's fresh, you don't get a lot of aromatics, right? But when this dries, it is so fragrant, and it's amazing to me that it smells so good. It would be good in a potpourri even. It smells really good. And then when the tea brews, you also get some of that aromatic as well, but it is most aromatic when it is in dried form. It is amazing. So what we'll do now is we'll continue to harvest and dehydrate, and then we will store in our mason jars, and then you know that we vacuum seal those and put aside until we're ready to mix tea blends. One of the tea blends that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days is going to be the goldenrod with basil. I think that those two will complement each other well. I may even experiment with the bergamot. This one may be too overpowering, but either way, we're gonna play with some flavors, and that's always very enjoyable because I love the faces that we get from the different family members as they're experimenting with the different herbal teas and stuff. So that's that. To get our, what is this? Goldenrod, sorry. To get our goldenrod to this form, we simply here's the thing, when it is dry, the little small flower bits can tickle your nose. So if you have a strong response to anything on your nose, you may want to wear a mask. That way you're not sneezing all over the place, because it does fly. So as with all of the tea blends that we do, after it's processed initially, we will put it back into the dehydrator for about an hour just to double check and make sure we have all the moisture content so there's no issues with molding. And we will also do that with this particular blend as well. All right, so that takes care of everything with our goldenrod. Now, if you are watching and you're not local to Dothan, Alabama, which is where our farm is situated, then you can still go onto our website at www.bainhomegardens.com and be able to order our tea blends from our shop page, and they do ship out. Right now we have the Roselle Hibiscus tea on there, and we also have the Bee Balm Bergamot tea. Going up by the end of the week at the latest will also be the Goldenrod, and perhaps, if we can get the flavor blend just right, the basil as well. So like this video, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share with someone who you think will appreciate, and come back and watch us in the next video. Take care.